I always say keep your eye on the prize. It's there. I always feel like, nobody can say you don't deserve what you want. Like, who can say you don't deserve what you want? My name is Dudu. I'm also known as Dudubloom. I'm an artist from Joburg. I am a multidisciplinary artist, studied printmaking for 3 years. And yeah, my work is about mental health, and it helps me live in this world or maneuver this world in a mentally healthy way. I feel like I discovered my medium of expression quite late, or late in my life. I don't know. Right after high school, I actually started studying accounting and for a couple of years. And when that wasn't going well, I really didn't know what I was going to do with my life, and went through a whole process of questioning, my existence and my purpose and what was I supposed to be doing. So fast forward a few years later, I used to go to the library every single day just to either write or just be in a space where I felt like I wasn't alone, or my story must be relevant, at least in the library. And one day I just started drawing, and I knew from that day that that's what I was supposed to be doing. While creating always made me feel like, there's a confidence that I gain from it. It's a form of expression where I don't necessarily have to say anything to anybody, but my work says it for me, and it creates certain worlds where it's a bit comforting and calm, and I can stay present in that moment when I'm making something, as opposed to be affected by everything else that's going on everywhere else. What I try to say in the work, or what I try to do with the work, is create a calm and like a place where somebody's self-aware and I'm present in that moment. And the point is to self-heal while I'm creating. I feel like my craft opens opportunities for me, or doors for me, in a way that I firstly didn't imagine. Because when I started, I didn't know what I could do with it or where it could take me, but I knew that it was the path I had to take. And so, like, from the onset, I knew I had to work and be consistent and, always live, eat, breathe art. So in that sense, when you align with what you're supposed to be doing, and it's basically your whole world, then everything just falls into place. And so from studying, I went to Artist Proof Studio, where as you going through the course, they have opportunities where you can work in different spaces. So maybe like you're selected to paint murals or participate in exhibitions. And so things like that helps your name to travel a bit. And people like start to follow you and see your career grow, or from a student to now a graduate, and so on and so on. But for me, it was always a case of, this has to happen. Like, there's no other way. I have to live from my craft. And so I always put in the energy, always put in the time, sacrifices. Consistency is like key, and always like focusing on the bigger goal. And there's obviously challenges where, demotivation, rejection, society, where society is like, ugh, I don't know about this type of work. But at the same time, no matter what you do, you are gonna get people not accepting you in certain ways, or not accepting your work. So that just comes with the territory. You just take it, but you have to keep going, because what else are you gonna do? For me, it's like, if I'm not doing this, what else am I gonna be doing? I can't picture not creating something, forever. I think the difference between an institution and not going to one, I think it would be just the theory part of it. I think institutions, and also depends on the type of institution, because I didn't go to one where theory is is the focus. I went to a very practical where you do the work and then a small bit of theory. So for me, it's practical. You got to do the work. Just continue doing the work. And also another issue is materials and resources to make these, artworks per se. But I also believe in using what you've got. And like, for instance, I don't have a camera, but I believe in my phone camera, I don't have the most expensive things to make things, but if I can find something to make with, it's enough. And then in terms of getting into spaces where people see your work, I mean, it can be tricky when we say there's social media, because not everybody, has access to social media. But, then you have your community, you have, there's always somebody that you can find to help or to talk to or to mentor you in one way or the other, And then, of course, there is the internet, YouTube. There's a plethora of information on the internet, social media, especially now, since last year, especially, spaces like Instagram and Facebook have been platforms where people are able to release their work into the world. In my experience, coming from an institution where it was mostly based on practicality and not theory, I mean, I will be honest, I do feel it when I'm in the industry that, okay, I'm in a space where all these people are talking theory and they use definitely like huge words, and it's just like, what are you talking about? My work is about how I feel, So you will feel a certain sense of imposter syndrome. That's what it is. You will feel like you're an imposter, like, okay, maybe I don't know enough or I don't do enough, blah, 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 blah. But man, who says? Who has the answer? I really don't. If somebody can come to me and, show me their face and be like, I know the answers, then maybe I'll believe them. But nobody has the answers. Even for those who are mostly theory-based, I don't think they have all the answers. So yeah, you just have to just put in the work and hope for the best and pray and really believe in yourself, and what you do. It is very important to brand yourself in how you want to be perceived or how you align your work compared to you or in line with you, because then in the bigger picture, when somebody sees your work or thinks of you, they see you as your brand, and it creates longevity. Also consider that in your brand, where how honest are you willing to be with the people, or how open are you willing to be, so that when things switch, your support system is still with you. So branding is very important because you want to sell a part of you, or you want a part of you to go out into the public, and that's up to you what that is, and what that is your brand. In terms of rebranding, my work changes a lot. Like sninging, I'm printmaking, sninging, I'm this and this and this. So I think my work, it in itself rebrands, but because that's what I make, no, I think it's still me, and people are still getting used to it. Like, but last year you were making, and it's just like, yeah, I know. So yeah, I think as a whole, I think people know that I switch or change, and I'm very curious, or I get bored very quickly. So that's why I need to change what I do, but it's still the same me. Luckily for me, my family is very supportive. I mean, going to accounting, I actually wanted to take a gap year after school, but it was my dad who was like, go to school. But besides him, my mom, my siblings, they like my number one team. And yeah, so I'm very lucky in that sense and very grateful for that. The pressures are real. Like, where do you start? Because first of all, you have to make the work, and that's energy on its own. You just have to keep going. You go with the punches for real. You apply for things, for funding, for instance, or residencies, and you get rejected. Tomorrow you wake up, you don't have materials anymore. Tomorrow you wake up and the big exhibition that you had, you didn't sell anything. And then also not coming from a wealthy background, also learning money, okay, then you start receiving all this money, and it's like, okay, what do you do with it? So there's a lot of lessons that you learn as you go, as they are happening. there are many lessons that are still gonna happen, but at the same time, that's the peace you make, where you're like, okay, in this journey, there's no one way to go through it. So I always say, keep your eye on the prize. It's there. I always feel like, nobody can say you don't deserve what you want. Like, who can say you don't deserve what you want? So yeah, keep the faith, keep the passion, and it might come in waves, it might not, but stay disciplined. I think also what has helped me, there's times when I struggle with it, but what has helped me a lot is keeping the discipline, because we can say as artists, oh, I just want the inspiration to come. But if you're just going to chill every single day, the inspiration, it also chills. So discipline, wake up every morning at 9 o'clock, and make a routine to say that today I am eating breakfast, taking a shower, go to studio. Tomorrow, same thing. So that the day you don't feel like doing it, it's just a habit for you to do it. The world has endless possibilities, and I feel like the word endless is so miniature in terms of how endless I mean. So yeah, it's so possible for anything that you want to happen, and if it's yours, you deserve it. Please take it. It's there for your taking.